That's right. Great and glorious and be famous one day. Nick Dutch here yet again. One of the stupidest things that's ever asked of me is, you don't believe in all of that shit, do you? I find this particular phrase rather hard to take and rather hard to get on with. Predominantly because the person who asks it doesn't actually think about what they're talking about. My assumption would be that the people who ask me this question have jumped to the conclusion that there is a very narrow line of reasoning or thought or belief structure that is under the subject of the occult. They have jumped to a complete misinterpretation of what that is, and they are accusing me of believing in something which they themselves have not properly come to understand. Which somehow reminds me of when a physicist approached me when I was finishing my degree in sociology and asked me why I bothered to study sociology, because in his eyes it was not a real science, despite the fact that the study of society is essential for such practical and rational things as social policy, which is the ideological, I suppose, foundation of the modern world the way it is today. And it governs everything from benefit payments through to the control of law and order, important infrastructure issues that we all rely upon. The physicist in question, I will point out, happened to be a creationist, which I think shows something about his line of reasoning. I mean, the way I see it, what I do as an experimental occultist is just that. It's a question of experimenting and trying to find out. I would say that the school of thought which is labeled magic is predominantly an attempt to be scientific about things which can't normally fit into the remit of science. But no matter what an individual thinks, just like that physicist thought about sociology, alright? No matter what an individual thinks, some things will remain true no matter what. One of the criticisms of the study into the supernatural is that it is useless. I disagree with this, because although there may not have been enough study done into the supernatural or things which come under the label of the supernatural at this point in time, that can change with the development of science itself over time. And so the experimenters and researchers, just like myself, have a role to play in the development of ideas and understanding of the world with the passage of time. Another accusation which is levied against people who are involved in the supernatural and with the supernatural is that of lack of in-depth analysis of the phenomena that we experience. In many cases, I would actually agree with that, because some humans prefer belief and religion above trying to reach a detailed and in-depth understanding of nature. So some individuals will have some supernatural related experiences and then choose to develop religiosity rather than to think in greater detail as to what those experiences were and trying to tackle it from every single point of view, from the natural sciences, from physical sciences, from psychological sciences, and then to see where there are instances whereby some of the arguments of the natural sciences do not hold water. This does seem to happen with a reasonable degree of frequency. There are some things that we can say do not fall under the existing remit of the natural sciences, and yes, they do happen. Although a lot of the things that we experience as experimental occultists are very subjective, with the passage of time we can start to bring ourselves to a much more objective understanding of how to express and explain these phenomena to other people, which is what I've tried to do in certain videos that I've done. So what we can't do is to jump to the conclusion that a person who is following the occult path, so to speak, falls into any particular narrow remit. And as practicing occultists, we have to attempt to be as scientific as is possible, and that means challenging our experiences and our methods, which a lot of occultists do not do. This has been Nick Dutch, signing out.